Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell and this is my review of The Lighthouse. Now this is the second film from director Robert Eggers, who also made one of my favorite horror films of the last 5 years or so, The Witch. This is his follow-up film to that film, and so you kind of know, if you've seen The Witch, you know generally what his style of filmmaking is. It's very ambiguous. It doesn't really it leaves a lot of things up to interpretation. The Lighthouse is very similar to that in that aspect. The Witch and The Lighthouse are two very drastically different films. The Lighthouse is filmed in black and white to give it kind of that old-timey atmosphere, but also kind of enhancing the uneasiness of its atmosphere as well, while The Witch was just more focused on this unknown presence in this woods, which is causing distrust and misfortune amongst his family. Now the main thing I just have to praise right off the bat for this film is Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson's performances, because they do a fantastic job in this movie. Robert Pattinson I have honestly not really seen a ton from, aside from like the Twilight films. I think I probably saw him in something else, but I don't remember what. But he does a fantastic job in this movie, because if you've seen the trailers, you can kind of get a general idea what the film's going to be about. It's about these two guys who are lighthouse keepers, and they end up stuck on this island for unknown reasons. And just as the film continues to progress, you get the sense that at least Robert Pattinson's character, for the most part, is starting to just do this insane shift in personality, because he's very hardened, I guess you could say, or for lack of a better word, but you see this huge change in personality from him from the beginning of the film to the end. He's very stoic at first, and then he just becomes so unhinged mentally and physically, and you just see his demeanor change so drastically over the whole hour and 40-some minutes that this film lasts, that you see the progression in his character done so well and so fascinatingly well, that it seems like he's two different people, and he almost is based on things that happen in the movie that I don't want to get into. But it's a really good performance, and it made me really, really like him as an actor, and really excited to see what he does with Bruce Wayne as Batman in the Matt Reeves films. Willem Dafoe as well does a really good job. He's not as outspoken or enthusiastic as Robert Pattinson's character is for the most part, but he has these really insane monologues, which you can tell just he's able to just show so much expression in, and just you see the years that he's done acting just come out in these monologues that he does, and it kind of gives this old man of the sea Poseidon-esque feel as he's just delivering these lines. And he was also just really fun to see on screen, and obviously just the two of them interacting. And seeing their characters progress throughout the course of the film as well, just in regards to just how they interact with each other, is also really fun to see on screen as well, because they are strangers at first, and then just over the course of time that they spend on this island, you see them just become friends and enemies. The atmosphere, like I mentioned earlier, the film is filmed entirely in black and white, so like I said, it gives that old-timey feel, but this is a horror film, but it also has these mystery elements, and it's not really traditional horror in that there's not really a monster that's trying to hunt these guys down or anything like that. It's much more psychological horror, in that there's just a lot of ambiguous things. There's visions that happen, at least with Robert Pattinson's character, and you just never really know what's real and what's not. It really plays with your sense of reality and not really knowing what to trust or who to trust, and there's just events that happen which just throw a lot of that stuff into uncertainty, just because you see something play out, you think it's being done in one certain way, and then a character says, why did you just do that thing, which it looks like this other character did, and it just makes you not trust really anyone at all, and not really know who ultimately to root for. And just there's like this siren that keeps on going just over the course of the whole film. I don't know if it's just like what the Lighthouse does, aside from being a lighthouse, but there's just this siren that happens over the course of almost the entire film, just in the background of scenes, and it just adds to that unease of the atmosphere, and I really enjoyed that as well. There's a lot to really like about this film. And then just Lovecraftian elements. There's a lot of Cthulhu stuff. And having played in the last year The Sinking City and then Call of Cthulhu on PS4, and kind of just knowing more or less, or being able to recognize Lovecraftian elements from those two video games, as you'll kind of pick up those elements and aspects in this film, and made it more enhanced. It enhanced the experience as a result, and so it does those things very well as well, and kind of adds to the ambiguity-ness of the film. A couple negatives though: the story can be kind of hard to follow. I'm not going to lie about that, just because it's such a interpretive film. You can kind of just take things as you want to, interpret them as you see fit. It doesn't really spell out the answer to what's going on, or like who's right and what's real and whatnot, like I mentioned. I would have liked to see some sort of definitive conclusion, because the ending can be kind of just out of nowhere almost, because you don't really know exactly what's going on. The accents as well, especially Willem Dafoe's accent, can be kind of tough to hear and understand at times, probably just because of noises which are happening in the background, or just because of how thick his accent gets sometimes. It can just be kind of hard to understand what he's saying. Robert Pattinson's character I didn't really have as much of an issue with, but Willem Dafoe just has such a heavy, thick accent in this movie that it just made it kind of hard to listen to, kind of like The Father and The Witch. But guys, overall, The Lighthouse is really, really good. It's done with fantastic performances. The atmosphere just enhances the film overall and makes it a very unique horror film in that sense, and something that you don't see terribly often these days with traditional horror. And it just has a lot of stuff which just really builds into the actual film itself. I just wish that the story was a little bit tighter and not nearly as ambiguous in regards to kind of what it was doing, at least towards the end. But yeah, those are my thoughts on The Lighthouse. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Let me know what your favorite A24 studio horror film is. I'd be very curious, because they do a lot of good stuff. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.